And welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that the Field of Dreams was the most watched baseball game in the last 16 years? The Yankees versus the White Sox game, which took place on August 13th, 2021, in Dyersville, Iowa, was the most watched game in the past 16 years with a viewership of about 5,903,000 on Fox and Fox Deportes. According to baseball history facts, this is the largest recorded audience since the Yankees Red Sox match in October of 2005. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friends and co-host Christian, aka C Will.
Hello, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of topics to talk about tonight, and that was a very good fact. I'm glad we chose that fact for the fact to start off the episode.
And Cam, aka Noticed_Cam.
Howdy, y'all.
So let's get down to talking about some sports. We're going to kick things off with the MLB.
Yes, and coming in first, we have the Royals, who are reportedly actively seeking a buyer for outfielder Andrew Benintendi, which is big in my opinion. He's a great player, and for him being so loyal to Kansas City, I just can't believe that they're going to give him away.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be a big buyer. There's definitely going to be some big teams that could get him. Hopefully the Reds can maybe get something. I'm not saying I could see the Atlanta Braves getting him maybe switching it up in the outfield a little bit as Christian's repping him right there. There's a few teams that I could see him going on that could really work for him. But I don't know, man. I just can't believe they're going to give him away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I was surprised by that as well. Now I may be wrong, but didn't Andrew play for the Red Sox at one point, or am I tripping?
You're tripping.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know the Red Sox had an outfielder that they gave away, but Andrew, he's definitely a solid player, and that's definitely a surprising move for the Royals because yes, they're rebuilding, but he's a young talent that they need to have. I want to get rid of him.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And then Max Scherzer is set to make another MILB, which is minor league rehab start after feeling some soreness following his previous start. He was supposed to be back, and then once again he's really been having this injury, and it's been holding him down, as we really haven't gotten to see him all season.
Yeah, he's a veteran, and he's had some injury issues over the last couple of years. Now the Mets have been doing pretty good even without him, though. They have. They have been up and down. I know my Braves have caught the Mets, but they're not a bad team. They're still pretty solid even without them.
Yeah, well, they've lost two of their best pitchers alongside with Jacob deGrom, who was also just sit down in the minor leagues with a rehab start. He's been having some injury issues too, which the Mets are still holding up, but without these two key guys, it kind of sucks. It's like you put all your money and all your trade value into Max Scherzer, and then your money goes into Jacob deGrom, and it's like you can't even use them. Kind of just tough.
Yeah. The Mets pitching core is so good on paper, but both those guys are just injury prone, and it really sucks.
Yeah, and then we have the Yankees, who have recently talked with the Reds about right-handed pitcher Luis Castillo, with Cincinnati showing interest in New York's pitching prospect Will Warren. The Mets, Blue Jays, Dodgers, and Giants have also been linked and have shown interest in Castillo to some capacity. Castillo, he's kind of was in a slump, and then he fixed himself, and now he's better, and he's kind of playing as to be expected, but he still has his issues. But personally, I don't really know. The way I'm feeling about the Reds is we've kind of thrown it all away, so it's like we might as well just start from the bottom. So go ahead and trade Castillo. And here's my thing, though, Reds. Don't be cheap. Hold back on him a little bit. Don't just give him away right away. Play the hard game. See what other teams are introducing, some other ideas. And when it comes down to it, that's when you tell that team, well, they're offering me this. What are you going to offer me for this? And that's when they're going to show some more like, well, we'll bring in this guy along with this. You know, there's, you know, Will Warren, just one pitcher is not enough in my opinion. You know, Will Warren has put up some good stats. I actually know he's one of the top, I think he's one of the top 50 prospects, but you know, just for one, I don't think it's right. We need someone else for sure.
Well, I mean, that's true. And with the Reds, I wouldn't get rid of him personally. And the Yankees, they're already loaded. I mean, they're arguably the top team in the American League. They're very good. They even had a walk-off homer by Aaron Judge the other day. But I mean, the Yankees, they have the biggest, like they have like arguably like the most money in the entire league. And of course, they're trying to get more star players on their team. I would not, even though as much as the Reds probably would do it, I would not want them to get rid of Castillo, and I would not send them to the Yankees.
Yeah, I want to send him to the Yankees, but I'd probably send him to some sort of team that has some better interest for him. You know, really the Reds have kind of dig their own grave at the moment. So once again, another player that I would be looking to trade at the trade deadline is Brandon Drury. Brandon Drury has been brought up to the MLB and has been playing excellent. I think he has like 15 home runs this early in the season. He's averaging a 300 average, 326 or .326 average, which is pretty good in baseball.
I would keep him
you know, yeah, he has a decent OPS. He's probably going to be the all-star for the all-star game for the Reds. And you know, he's some good trade value. I mean, one guy that I would keep though, well, two guys I would absolutely keep is Hunter Green and Art Warren. You best believe that you better keep those two. If you don't keep those two, I'd be so upset. I mean, obviously Hunter Green has some unnatural talent with how good he is. You know, I mean, and he has the most record in just his rookie season. You know, his first game, he had, I think it was like 20 over 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. There's like 20 of them.
Yeah, I saw that
in his first game, which broke the record. I mean, he's just crazy. Phillies 2021 MVP Bryce Harper has suffered a fractured thumb and the other night with the game against the Padres after getting hit by Blake Snell with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball off his left hand, which if you actually look, I mean, it was right up and in on him. You know, and I don't know if you guys know this, but man, when Harper gets hit, man, he loses his mind. He gets so angry at the pitcher. He starts cussing him out, getting mad. And, you know, I'm not going to say it was intentional, but, you know, there was no way he could really avoid that and just hit him right in his thumb. And, you know, you could see he was in some big time pain.
Well, as much as I'm not a Harper fan, I hope he gets well soon. And it's definitely a big blow for the Phillies. But
yeah.
But speaking of injuries, I saw something else too. This one was from the Angels. They took another L. One of their pitchers, I think he's usually a closer, but I know he was on, or I don't know if he's closed, but I know he was a really good pitcher a couple years ago. He was on the Mariners, but now he's on the Angels. Archie Bradley was injured jumping over a railing during the game on Sunday, and he'll be out for like 4 weeks.
Now, Christian, the one you're actually talking about is which I'm going to bring it up a little bit later on, is the big old fight between the Angels and Mariners. If you actually see when Jesse Winker was going up against them, you actually see him try to jump the railing and fall straight on his face, which is the funniest thing ever.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't know that was him.
Oh, that was him. Yeah, that was him. Now, here's who you were thinking of, Christian. You're thinking of Alex Verdugo from the Red Sox, the outfielder, earlier when you were thinking of Andrew Benintendi or whatever.
Yeah, that was him.
Which I'm going to present the news. Red Sox outfielder Alex Verdugo recently recalled his trade from the Dodgers, saying how upset he was at it first, but at least I got traded for blank Mookie Betts. So
yeah,
he's throwing some shade for sure.
Of course he is.
And you know, the main drama that's happened this week was Jesse Winker and the huge brawl he had with the Mariners and Angels, which
the delivery and hit by the pitch is Winker. And now we'll see if the umpires do anything, because warnings were already Now Winker is heading to the Angels dugout, and both benches empty, and here come all the relievers from the bullpen. And we have a brawl right now over by the Angels on deck circle. Punches being thrown everywhere. This is an all-out brawl over on the left side of home plate. Here come all the relievers. Umpires trying to restrain players, and the war is on right now. This is far from being broken up. Now more players involved because all the members of the respective bullpens are down there. Players are on the ground. A lot of grappling going on right now by the Angels on deck circle. Winker, after he got hit, you could tell he was unhappy, and then he started to move towards the Angels dugout.
At the end of it, you see him giving the bird to the crowd, both hands, by the way. So he's double wheeling that bad boy. And this all started with, so here's how it went. Okay, I'm going to give you the full timeline. So Justin Upton of the Mariners got hit in the head like 2 weeks before the game, or not 2 weeks before the game, my fault. 2 weeks before this incident happened, and he got hit on the head by a fastball, hit him right in the helmet, went to the ground, everything, right? Panic, distraught. After that, it was, I'd say the game before yesterday, or not game before yesterday, but the game before that game where the brawl happened. The Angels got mad because one of the pitchers threw twice inside on Mike Trout, and they were both pretty close. Did they hit him? No. So it's like this all sparks because of this. And if you guys don't know baseball rules, there's a lot of unwritten rules in baseball, and there's consequences to them. I mean, there's a lot of unwritten rules that are just like they're statutory, and if you don't follow them, it's like you're just gonna, get bullied basically by the other team, and even sometimes your own team, and so that happened, and the reason why they call it suspicious is because the manager of the Mariners actually went out on the mound before the pitcher threw at him twice, which, you could sometimes find suspicious, but who really knows? He kind of had a weak arm, and plus, in the pitcher's defense, what he said was, and this is very true, he was just trying to throw up and in on Mike Trout because that's where Mike Trout swings really bad at. He's been known to swing up and in on those close spots where he just, he gets stuck up in. So the next game, now this is where it's really suspicious. You had the Angels bring out a relief pitcher. They didn't use their starting pitcher for the game, a relief pitcher who came in and threw, and basically what they were doing is just throwing at batters.
Yeah, I seen that.
So they threw out one big old issue, I forget who it was, and he made a fuss about it, but he walked on. He if you actually saw on John Boy's video, funny enough, he has great lip reading, by the way. I'd like to say that. If you're not a baseball fan, John Boy explains stuff perfectly. Not to give a little promo or nothing, but seriously, I advise that for anybody that's not a fan of baseball, and doesn't really understand the game. He's a good guy to go to understand it. But the guy that got hit in the first place was just basically saying, like, okay, that's how we're going to do it. Okay. And you see that. So, he throws a couple of guys, whatever. And then Jesse Winker comes up to plate, and this is why I love Jesse Winker. He's a former Red, one of my favorite players in the league, no doubt. And he's an absolute savage. He does not care. And he got hit right in the buttocks. I'd like to say that. And, at first he was just looking at the umps with his arms up, confused, why is this dude still in the game? Obviously he's just intentionally hitting batters on purpose. And as he's just looking around, talking to the umps and walking away, the Angels dugout is just straight up bullying him, saying a bunch of stuff no. So Winker turns around, throws his helmet, and he just tells them, let's go. And it's so funny because as you see him going over to the Angels, you see 20 of those guys start jumping out the thing, what are you doing? And then, it's just so funny how the Reds are. You first had Amir Garrett with the Pirates, with the Reds pitcher who went after them in that one game, if you guys do know what I'm talking about. And now you have Jesse Winker doing it. and it was an absolute brawl. I mean, I don't know if Mike's able to play the video, but you can see it's pretty bad. I mean, he got some good pitches and overall just rough, but with it coming out now, they just announced it earlier this morning that the Angels manager Phil Nevin will be suspended for 10 games for his involvement in the brawl with Seattle. And then Anthony Rendon has also been suspended 5 games. Rizzo Iglesias has been suspended 2 games. Ryan Tapera and Andrew Wantz, or how you want to say his name, has been suspended 3 games. And then with Manners, Jesse Winker was suspended 7 games. J.P. Crawford was suspended 5, and Julio Rodriguez was suspended 2.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people fighting. J.P. Crawford was definitely a big one. He was throwing some big old punches at some people. But, to get on with that, Minnesota Twins pitching coach Wes Johnson will reportedly leave the team after Thursday's game against the Guardians to join LSU's coaching staff as their new pitching coach. What a move. In the middle of the season, too. Like, early in the season, why would you do this?
It's surprising.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, something's not adding up. They must have paid him more or something. There's got to be. The Mariners have acquired DH Carlos Santana from the Royals in exchange for right-handed pitcher Wyatt Mills and William Fleming. And let's see.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Okay, so there was just an update. Bryce Harper will be back in approximately 6 weeks.
That's a
hurtful.
month and a half.
Yeah, over a month. That's hurtful. And the last thing that I can see, the Braves have replaced reliever Kenley Jansen on the 15-day injured list due to an irregular heartbeat.
I saw that too. That sucks.
Yeah, pray for him. But
yeah,
that's all of it.
Well, moving on to we also before we get to the NBA and the NBA draft, I just want to go over a brief thing with College World Series and baseball for them. I thought it was a really good College World Series. We saw some teams in there that definitely were surprises. I mean, Arkansas, they were doing well for some of it, and then they got crushed by Stanford. I mean, Stanford, they were great coming in. They're 47-16, definitely a favorite, and they couldn't win hardly anything. Notre Dame was definitely a really good team in this year's College World Series, but towards the end, we saw Oklahoma work their way up. They got by Texas A&M. Ole Miss, they got by Arkansas and Auburn. And Arkansas did get by Auburn as well. But for the College World Series championship, it was Ole Miss versus Oklahoma, and Ole Miss won, and it was a best of 3. They won that one to win the College World Series. And I don't know if that's their first College World Series, but I think I heard somewhere that it was. Yeah, it was their first ever College World Series. So props to the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, the NBA draft, what we're going to do with the NBA draft is we're going to give some of our thoughts on some good moves that were made in the draft and some moves that we thought were pretty bad. So, Mike, do you want to go first?
Yes. Let me get up the draft order first. I'll just say the top 10 picks. It was basically what people expected, in my opinion. The top 10 picks were Paulo Banchero to Orlando. I know, Christian, you don't like this guy. I think he's a good player, but I don't like the fact that he has a DUI on his record. But he is a good player, and I think he will help the Magic. They are a very young team, and I think he'll work well with Cole Anthony and the other guys that they have on their team.
Now, one thing I want to say real quick. He's a good player, but he got away with the DUI, and he was underage drinking and all that, right. And he was in a really bad situation there. I mean, I'm all for, like, bettering yourself and, moving on and everything. I just feel like this was probably the worst mistake in a while for a number 1 pick. Because, first off, Jabari Smith, as much as I like him going to Houston, he was obviously the number 1 pick here, in my opinion. Jabari Smith He's like a forward. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Durant. He's skinny, but he's tall. He could shoot. He could dunk. He was putting up impressive numbers with Auburn. I feel like Jabari Smith was clearly the number 1 overall pick, and the Magic's going to regret this.
That's a hot take saying he's the biggest mistake in the number 1 pick, because you got to remember Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett too, though, Christian.
But that was like 10 years ago, Mike. I'm talking about over the last couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't. I must not have heard that part, or you didn't mention it. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say I disagree with you because I haven't seen Paulo on the floor yet. So he could get another DUI. He could go to jail, or he could end up being a bust. I don't know. We'll come back to that when the season begins.
My thing is, as a team, if I was a draft guy and I was looking at him, I mean, let's be honest here. You don't have any responsibility in yourself, and you're very irresponsible for you to be underage, drinking and driving, knowing that you have a one-way ticket to the NBA, and you're just messing it up. And and I don't respect anybody that drinks and drives.
Yeah.
You know the consequences, and you know that you're not. I don't care about your life because screw it. Obviously, you're dumb enough. You don't care. But what about other people's lives? You know what I mean? And that's what I don't like. I can name countless people that I knew that have, and even in my own family, that have died due to drunk drivers. So,
Right.
It's just one of those things where it's just like I really have a lot of respect lost for people like that. And I even have a lot more respect for you because clearly you don't respect yourself. I mean, no offense, but I mean, why would you just, you're lucky you got off with what you did, because look at a guy like Henry Ruggs. Dude, he got in a DUI.
Right.
And he ruined his whole life. So, I mean, you could have been in his position and got your whole life ruined. So
Right.
I think it's cap, and you should have gotten in more trouble than you did.
I agree.
I gotta say this real quick. I was incorrect on some things that I just said, and I will apologize for this. He was involved in a DUI, but he was not driving. There was another driver he assisted who was drunk driving. His name was Michael Severio, which I knew there was a teammate involved with this DUI. But he was arrested. Paulo was arrested on aiding and abetting DWI clause for letting a teammate, who's the grandson of Mike K, which is pretty bad look on the university. I remember when this happened, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this could affect a lot of people. But obviously they got over, and obviously they don't care because they want the top guy to just get over it like it's no big deal.
Right.
But I will say I was incorrect in that. I do apologize for saying he was probably the one driving. I don't remember if I said that. But, yeah, it's not a good thing. And I'm sure he's definitely improved, and I'm sure he's a good person. But personally, that aside, I still don't think he's the number 1 pick. I feel like, yes, he's very good talent-wise. He's very strong. But he got exposed in the ACC tournament and in the NCAA tournament. His numbers were not that good compared to the regular season. He was getting locked up. He was getting blocked. I don't think he was the number 1 pick. I would say I put him in top 10, but definitely not number 1 or in the top 5.
Right. I mean, Christian, I agree with your points here. Obviously, I do not condone drinking and driving. I think that it's very stupid. I don't condone underage drinking. I know he was not the driver now, but I still don't condone underage drinking. But if it were another player, I think that it would have hurt his draft stock. But they let him off, and he was able to get the number 1 pick. But we'll see what he can do in the league. I think he'll be a pretty good player. I know he was like a freshman, I believe, or a sophomore. I'm not entirely sure what year he was, but I think he was good enough to get in the league. He had a very good season, so we'll have to see how he plays. Secondly, Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. Here's the thing. Chet Holmgren is a very good player. He is a very good player skill-wise, but his problem is he's kind of like Kevin Durant. He is very, very skinny, and he needs way, way more muscle. Way more muscle. The dude looks like thin, and I think he should have stayed another year at Gonzaga. He was good in the regular season, but in the tournament he kind of fell off a little bit. He was missing some layups a little bit, and I just think that he should have gotten another year at Gonzaga, gotten more of a chance to get some more muscle built up, and I think he would have been fine. But he should be good in the NBA, but it might take him a few years.
Now, the Thunder's one of my winners of the draft. Chet Holmgren's definitely a great player, and I agree with some of your points there. I feel like maybe if you stay a little bit longer, you have a chance for to develop more. I think he's a very solid player, though. I mean, he can shoot the three, he can defend. He's very good with his post game, despite him being skinny. I think he's definitely a top 3 pick in this draft, and he was. He went number 2. But the Thunder also had some great picks as well. With all the trades they've done, they've been getting some solid talent. I mean, they got Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. I thought he was a very solid pick as well. Another Jalen Williams this time from Arkansas. I thought he was very good. I'm surprised he went in the second round, but I think that the Thunder definitely. I mean, they're still a long way from being playoffs again, but they could make the playoffs in like 3 or 4 years.
I agree. I mean, they got a good team. Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort. Chet Holmgren, if he comes up nicely, they have a pretty solid team there. And we got to go a little quicker because we're running out of time. So we will cut this episode any minute now. But let's get through some of these other picks. Jabari Smith out of Auburn, like Christian was mentioning, this is a very, very good pick. The Rockets, they're trying really hard to go younger. Their management is not the best as they traded Christian Wood to the Mavericks like dummies for Boban Marjanovic, right?
Yeah, that's a bad one. I'll talk more about player transactions in a little bit, but yeah,
Rockets management is trash, but they're trying to go younger. I get it, but I think that was a bad move to trade Christian Wood, even though Boban is not a bad center at all. Good pickup with Jabari Smith. If he can come back and be a good player, then he will be like another Christian Wood, be a very solid player.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're going for the young guys and trying to build them up. It's almost like it'd be a long time for a lot of these young guys to really make a good team. And I feel like by that time, for them to make a good team, a lot of them would already be traded away. They definitely have some things to work on for sure.
Yeah. Now, for time's sake, I'm going to go through the rest of the top 10 real quick. Honestly, a lot of players in this draft I've never heard of before. But at number 4, the Kings got Keegan Murray from Iowa. Number 5, Pistons got Jay and Ivy from Purdue. 6 was the Pacers. They got Benedict Mathurin from Arizona. 7, the Trailblazers got Shaedon Sharpe from Kentucky. At number 8, one of my favorite picks of this one, I think definitely is a great move. The Pelicans got Dyson Daniels. At number 9, the Spurs got Jeremy Chokan, who's a very solid forward from Baylor. Definitely was really good in the tournament. And then at number 10 was the Wizards getting Johnny Davis, a guard from Wisconsin. Johnny Davis is a very good player, and I'm glad your Wizards, Mike, got my boy Davis.
Yes. So Keegan, pretty good pick for the Kings. 5, Jaden Ivey. This is a very good pickup for the Pistons. He will work very well with Cade Cunningham in the backcourt, and the Pistons are going to look scary if they can keep adding more people. Possibly DeAndre Ayton, who knows? Number 6, Benedict Mathurin. This is a good pick for the Pacers. Pacers are also trying to rebuild, and I think he's a very good player. He's got a lot of bounce like we saw in the tournament. He can shoot a little bit. Shaedon Sharpe, haven't really watched him play too much, but I heard he's a good player. Dyson Daniels, this guy is kind of like Ben Simmons. He's kind of got that height, except I think he could be a better player than him. He's got defense, and he can shoot better than Ben Simmons can.
Yeah.
Jeremy Sochan, I have not watched him play, but Baylor's head coach is very, very good, and they have a great team values, and overall, that's what you want in a championship caliber team. So hopefully he can take that to the Spurs. Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis is a pretty solid pickup. I'm a little mixed on it. He's good. I'd love to see him in the NBA. He has great mid-range and great defense, and averaged over 20 points a game, I believe, in college. So that's pretty good. Apparently the Wizards want to make him the next point guard, which I think is a terrible decision because he's a rookie. I think he should come off the bench just to start with, and they get a veteran to help him. But overall, Johnny Davis is a pretty solid pickup. Now, some undrafted players that I was kind of shocked that got undrafted. Kofi Coburn out of Illinois. I thought he was very, very good, and he should have been drafted without a doubt. And Ron Harper Jr., he is a great shooter, very clutch player, and he didn't get drafted. I don't know why. And Scottie Pippen Jr., I heard he wasn't very good. I've heard mixed reviews on Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah, I heard. Isn't he going to the Lakers? I know the Lakers
he is going
have
to the Lakers with Sharif O'Neal, but O'Neal is kind of bad.
I will say this real quick about my Hornets. We should have got a better center than we did. I mean, we did get a center from Duke, but we also got a guard. It's just we need like a star center, and I felt like we should have got Christian Koloko from Arizona. He ended up going to the Raptors, but we passed up on him. Instead, we went with Mark Williams, who doesn't have a whole lot of experience in Duke. Like, why? Why Hornets every year? Except for
Christian, how does it feel about Miles Bridges?
Oh, we were going to talk about that a little bit after. In a little bit. I got some stuff I wanted to say about that.
I mean, Mark Williams, I don't think that's too bad of a pickup for the Hornets. Who did they get? I know they traded the guy, I think the Knicks. I can't remember exactly, but I know they got somebody and then traded him.
It's a mess, dude. It's a mess down in Charlotte.
Yeah, and now Montrezl Harrell, he's facing 3 years in jail. How does that feel?
And it doesn't feel good. But then again, remember what I said about him with the Wizards?
He's not on my team anymore, so now it's your problem.
To be fair, though, people smoke weed all the time in Charlotte and get away with it. I hate the smell of it. People smoke the weed here all the time in Charlotte, and it's so annoying. And yeah, they should get rid of weed. But anyways, that's a different discussion.
Yeah, I just feel like this is turning into an annoying Christian episode now. We're just making fun of him for being a Hornets fan.
Honestly, not even annoyed. But anyway.
I'll probably get made fun of in a few minutes. So we're going to cut this episode really quick, but we will be right back.
Well, we got some NBA transactions to go through. There's a little bit of some trades and some free agency stuff going on since it's the off season, obviously. But one of the biggest ones came today. Of the day we were recording this, John Wall going to the Clippers. So John Wall, I mean, he's not played much, to be fair, over the last couple of years. He's had injury issues. I know he's Mike's favorite player. And John Wall going to the Clippers kind of hurts being a Rockets fan, but it is what it is. I understand the decision. What is your thoughts on Wall going to LA?
I was a little surprised. It was just like I think it's a good trade though. It's a good thing. What?
I said it wasn't a trade.
Oh, not a good trade. You know what I meant. My fault.
Yes,
not
yes.
a trade. It was a good for him. I think he's gonna do good on the Clippers. But I was a little surprised to see it actually happen. Because Mike was talking about this too.
Yeah, he was. That's
okay.
For sure.
Now, Christian is correct. John Wall is my favorite player of all time and currently in the league. So I'm going to try not to be too biased on this, but I am very happy for him to go to the Clippers. The Clippers are obviously a very good team. They have young depth, but they also have great veteran players such as Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, of course. They got Ivica Zubac. They just re-signed him as well. And the Clippers, here's a hot take. I feel like if John Wall, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard can all get along well, they can all pass each other the ball, and they can all do good with scoring and passing and all that stuff to be a successful team, they can be a top 3 team in the West. If they are all injured, because all these guys have had histories with injuries, especially Wall and Kawhi Leonard as of recently. Kawhi is going to be coming off of bad injury Paul George came off of a torn ligament in his elbow that kept him sidelined longer than he needed to. And that's why the Clippers weren't as good as they probably should have been, in my opinion. But I feel like with Wall there, he's that point guard that those two guys needed. Those two guys need somebody to pass them the ball. And John Wall is a pass first point guard. And he can score when those two guys can't score. So they could absolutely be a top 3 team in the West. But like everybody says that John Wall has an injury problem. And you know what? You are correct. He does have an injury problem. He'll play like 10 games and then all of a sudden he'll tear a muscle in his hamstring or something like that. And it's very unfortunate because John Wall is a very good player and people forget he is a great player. All people want to focus on is the negative. They want to focus on that he's hurt and they completely ignore that he tries to make his teammates better. He tries to get his teammates the ball. He tries as hard as he can to score. And even after coming off a torn Achilles, could still dunk almost the same. He averaged almost 20, if not 20 a game. And people just want to focus on that he's hurt. And that's why Rockets fans are absolute trash. Christian, not you. You are fine. But some of the Rockets fans I see are ungrateful. John Wall sat out so the Rockets could keep building their young core and that they didn't need him. They needed the young core. And he still sat on the sidelines trying to help these younger players. So
I heard he's trashing the players too and talk about him leaving, going to other teams.
I did not hear that.
Teammates. That's what I heard. But I may be wrong. But I mean, I get your points, Mike. Like, yes, I feel like people focus too much on his injuries. I mean, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a really solid player. But I mean, dude, you gotta keep it real too. I mean, he's probably gonna spend like maybe 10 games and then get hurt. But unfortunately, that might be the case. I hope he can stay healthy. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know where you're coming from, Houston fans, because I've not seen any Houston fans say anything like that. Unless you've probably been scrolling through a bunch of Instagram comments and find them yourself, because I have not seen any.
Christian, look at the Rockets did a thank you post for John Wall on their Instagram. Look at the comments.
My thing is, I think it's going to be a good duo with Kawhi and George because it's like kind of like, I don't want to say they're old timers, but it's like the OG basketball greats all on a team. It's like they're all going to make a comeback together. I do kind of have a feeling that John Wall is going to have a comeback season, and he's going to do good. He is injury prone, and I do think he will face an injury this season, sadly. Right. But I think his numbers are going to be pretty solid.
I agree, Cam. Thank you.
I see what you're talking about, Mike, because a lot of them are angry. And some of it has to do with his money because he was getting paid. I mentioned this like a couple months ago, or like that he shouldn't be getting paid that much to sit on the bench and not play. That's true. Like, I mean, I get that, but yeah, some of these fans are wild, and I'm not gonna lie. They're like, for what? Thank you for what? I get it. He didn't do much in Houston, though. I get why they're saying for what, but it is what it is. Let's move on a little bit. It's speaking of not trades, but moving around. The Grizzlies got Danny Green from the 76ers, and the 76ers got what's his name? They got him, D'Anthony Melton. Yeah. Now, D'Anthony Melton is a very solid backup guard. I feel like is a good addition for the 76ers right now because they need a backup guard that could score and also pass. Danny Green, yes, he was good shooting last year. He's definitely improved from when he was on the Lakers. But Green, he's getting older. He's had injuries. I think the Grizzlies, it's a W move for both teams in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good trade.
I agree.
Next up, we got to talk about the Hornets here. Miles Bridges, if they do not match his offer, the Hornets do not match the max contract extension, there's rumors that Miles Bridges may be going to the Pistons, which is kind of a surprise because the Pistons is a team that they're rebuilding, but Bridges going there, I don't think this is going to move. First off, also, Bruce is one of my favorite players in the NBA, but he has some problems right now. He needs to focus on the court. And yes, it's off season, but he's doing a lot of outrageous stuff off the court. From doing his rap music with a lot of absurd like lines, which has made me not want to become a fan of him. From that to like apparently doing drugs rumors, and I've heard also, I know of course there's the Montrezl Harrell doing weed, but things are looking good right now, and we need him to stay on the horse because he's arguably the best player in the team other than LaMelo.
Right. I mean, the rap music, I don't have a problem with. Damian Lillard, he raps, and it's not
but
affecting him.
About gangs and shooting people.
I did not know that part, but I mean, I don't have a problem with him doing the rap music. Maybe change the lyrics a little bit, but the rap music I don't have a problem with. But the drugs, that's absolutely bad.
I've heard some crazy lines from his raps, but go ahead.
I will have to listen to his raps after this episode.
Listen. His lyrics are like very violent and like very like rap culture today, but I tell you, he is a good rapper. Like the way he does rhyme stuff really well, like that could have been his second job. But you know, my thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, it kind of goes back to you guys know who Destroying is on YouTube.
Yes,
I know he is.
It's kind of like you can't prohibit somebody from doing something they like doing, in my opinion.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like, even if it is bad, it's almost like one of those things where it's like, I feel like you can't, like as a team, you can't just tell them not to do it because it's a hobby. You know, that's like telling a football player that they can't draw outside of football.
Well, it's just there's a difference. There's a difference here. It's 6'10". Like, imagine if LeBron did that.
They would not care. It's LeBron.
No, literally, he's the face of the NBA. You know how much that would like affect the league?
They would not care. They
wouldn't. Just being honest.
They wouldn't do anything. It's LeBron. He's gotten so big that he's past the NBA.
Yeah, that is true.
But it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't rap. I'm just saying that like some stuff he's talking about is not good. It's not a good look at all, and I don't believe in doing that. There's certain things either. Plus, if supposedly I read an article like back when he was in Michigan State, he's supposedly a Christian. Christians don't do that type of stuff.
Oh, he's not a Christian. That's obvious. He's definitely not a Christian. But you know, my thing is it's one of those things where, like I said, it's like as much as you may not like it, it's just like you can't stop him from doing it. Even me, like I don't really like his music for how vulgar it is, but I don't think it's right to just let him make it stop or something like that. But I do see what you're saying, Christian. You know, it's one of those things where it's like with the drugs though, that's different. The drugs are definitely one of those things where it's like not cool because, you know, I do believe certain players get special privileges, and you know, Miles Bridges is definitely one of the well-liked players in the NBA. Whether you know if you like to hear that or not, he is. So I kind of wonder if they're gonna let him get away with it or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to say, Bradley Beal, he declined his player option, but however, could still re-sign with the Wizards for a max deal, which would be the biggest contract in NBA history. It'd be like 5 years, $248 million, I believe. Here's the thing. I know I'm wearing a Rockets jersey right now, but I'm a diehard Wizards fan. I'm just a diehard John Wall fan too. But I have mixed opinions on this because I like Bradley Beal. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very down-to-earth dude. He's a very quiet dude. He doesn't get into crap off the court. He goes and plays basketball, but he's got some problems. The dude, he wants to win. I get it. He wants to win, and the Wizards have not proven themselves to be a winner except when they had John Wall, Marcin Gortat, Otto Porter, Markieff Morris. That was the closest time to winning, and they haven't been good over the last couple of seasons. It's been obvious, but Bradley Beal is very bipolar in his decision-making for what team he wants to play for. One day he acts like he's going to come on the Wizards. The next day he acts like he's going to go to whatever team is going to be good next, like the Celtics, for example. I've heard rumors he wants to go play with Jason Tatum. And if he wants to go play with Jason Tatum, let him go play with Jason Tatum. I'm not going to stop him. but the Celtics got to give us Jaylen Brown. But if he wants to come back in the Wizards, I would welcome him, but I would also be terrified for that contract because Bradley Beal is not on the level of Stephen Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James. That is a contract fit for them, not Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal deserves a good contract, but not maybe a max deal, but not that. That's all their cap room and all their future down the drain for the next 5 years. And are we still going to be mediocre, or are we going to get people? Because Bradley Beal supposedly has a good, rapport around the league. Are we going to get more people that are going to want to play here? If that's the case, then shoot, sign him, go into the luxury tax, and then get more good players. But if we're just going to sign him just because Bradley Beal is money hungry and he's not going to do anything to fix himself because he has some problems. He's very inconsistent scorer, and he makes a lot of turnovers because sometimes he gets very out of control because he feels like he has to be the number one option on the team and that everybody has to pass him the ball, and he ends up getting out of control.
It's a Kyrie Irving situation with him, for sure.
Yes. So if he can fix that and prove that he's worth the biggest contract, I am all open for him. But if he wants to leave, then screw him. Let him leave, and the Wizards can build around Kyle Kuzma.
Well, there's definitely some great takes there. Now, moving on, I'm going to go really fast here if I can. Some other ones, there's KD rumored to go to the Trailblazers. Damian Lillard posted a story about Kevin Durant being in a Portland Trailblazers jersey, which would make up, it's crazy thinking about this. The Trailblazers passed on Durant a long time ago and picked Greg Oden. Imagine Kevin Durant goes there. Kyrie Irving, same with the Nets. There was that. Then we mentioned a little bit earlier, the Mavericks got Christian Wood, which is huge for the Mavericks because they needed a big man who could defend and rebound and score. That's huge for the Mavericks. Now, however, they did get rid of Trey Burke. They did get rid of Boban and Sterling Brown. But the Rockets got some good players in return. I could see the Rockets being much better than last season if they keep Jalen Green, if they keep Josh Christopher, a lot of these young talents. Kevin Porter Jr., I think the Rockets could maybe make the playoffs in 2 years. Within 2 years, I think, yes, I know it's a hot take, but I can see the Rockets doing very well. But there were some other signings, nothing too crazy at the moment, but we'll cover more of those as we continue on with the off season. But now I guess we could talk about the NHL. We didn't talk about it since we were off last week. The NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals was between the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And as I predicted, the Avalanche win in 6. So the Lightning are done. I'm so thankful and happy that the Lightning did not win again. And for the Colorado Avalanche, much deserved finals win. They were 56-19-7 this year, and they blew them in 6 games. So what is y'all's thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals? I'm just so happy that the Avalanche could finally win the cup.
Yeah, seeing the Lightning win back to back, it reminds me of, it's kind of like the repetition with the Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers. It was the same thing over those few years, just back to back to back. And it was just kind of repetitive, and it's okay, new team, please. And good stuff for the Avalanches. I still am kind of stuck up on the that whole. What team was it? I'm trying to remember. It was a big controversy of if the guy kicked the puck in or not.
I don't remember that one. I don't know what you're talking about there, but
they would have gotten them in a big thing. But I'm still stuck up on that. Hold on, I'm gonna see. Anyways, Mike, say your opinion while I try to find this.
Well, I did not watch the Stanley Cup Finals because I did not get a chance to. But I'm very happy the Avalanche won. I was 1 game off. I said Avalanche in 7, and they ended up winning in 6. But that is great. I definitely agree with Cam. I was getting tired of the Lightning, and it was kind of like the NBA when the Warriors were winning all the championships.
Exactly.
And then the Lakers won the championship, and it was kind of a relief because it was someone different. So
yeah, we all had to beat. Sorry, what?
So congratulations to the Avalanche. They definitely deserved it.
Yeah, we all had our same thoughts here on that. I mean, first two games was the Avalanche won in overtime. They had 2 overtime games in this series, and there were some good games. There were some close ones. Game 2 was a blowout by the Avalanche when they won 7-0, but the Lightning struck back at home, and they won 6-2 now. And Game 4 was very close when the Avalanche won overtime. Game 5, Lightning again. A lot of the games are really close. There are only 1-score games throughout the series, except for 2 of the games. So it was very entertaining to watch. And also, I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Blood Lightning's player got absolutely laid out in a game. I sent a video to you, Mike, about that. We got absolutely nailed. I don't know if you can show down the screen, but that was a huge hit.
I saw that. That was insane.
Yeah, but that's definitely good. Now, Cam, did you find the
It was
team?
it was the Flames. The Flames. They had a controversial goal where they couldn't tell if the guy kicked the goal in or not, and they kind of as he did, but I think they got robbed.
Kane could not get it past Hannafin, and Backlund's going to charge back in. Michael Backlund, shot, scores! Blake Coleman finished it. Michael Backlund started it. And the Flames lead by 1.
And this is Michael Backlund's signature move. He's on Darnell Nurse. Watch this. He likes to go inside between the stick and the skates of the defender. And there's Coleman driving hard to the net, right down the middle. There's Michael Backlund's signature move. Coleman knows it. Nurse doesn't recognize this at the time that it's happening. Almost identical to the goal that Backlund scored in Game 4.
Third point of the game for Backlund. Blake Coleman's got 3 points, and that's his third of the playoffs.
Oh, and okay, we have the referees now with the tablet. And I'm not sure what they're looking for yet. It may be offside, we're being told. Okay, here's Coleman in the middle.
It's okay.
Oh, that looks fine to me. And on the far side, it's fine as well.
I'm told that this is not an official challenge. And with the referees looking at it, this is more likely what they're looking at.
And here's
was it kicked in?
Okay, that's
off the skate of Coleman. It was. It looked like it was going in anyway.
Oh boy,
would you call that a kicking motion?
I don't know if I would.
Call?
That's too close to overturn it, seems to me. What do you think?
With everything on the line in the Battle of Alberta, that would be a tough call to be brought back. That would be
a tough call, you're right. We're pretty sure there's no offside. Let's take a look at that skate of Blake Coleman. I think you've got to give it that that's an attempt to stop skating. Oh boy, that's hard to tell, Chris. I wouldn't want to be making that call.
I don't know if they would call that
that last angle. If there's an argument to be made that that's a kicking motion, but man, it sure looks to me like that's in an effort to stop, and that's just forward momentum.
As if we needed any more drama here tonight. Coleman, who won back-to-back cups with Tampa Bay, 24 points in those 2 playoff runs.
There's more looks at it. That's, I don't know how you could rule that that's a kicking motion.
And what would be?
Mike can put up this video here because I can send him a clip of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to the top plays, we got to talk a little bit about football or soccer and YouTube boxing. Soccer, real quick. I'm just going to go over this. There's been a lot of transactions going on with soccer, a lot of players moving around. And I saw that Chelsea they were interested in a player named Victor Omishen, and a lot of people were talking about this one because a lot of people were upset about him leaving because he was reportedly going to go to Arsenal, but there was a thing that happened between he had said something about Drogba, which is an absolute legend, a very great soccer player, about how he's his favorite player, but also he's making hints that he was going to go to a certain team. But basically, he basically went to let me pull this up. He didn't go to Arsenal, but there was rumors of him with Manchester City. We saw Gabriel Jesus go to there, but Drogba, he's been, if I'm correct, he's retired. But with some other transactions, speaking of Arsenal, they got Matt Turner from New England, which is an MLS team. This was a huge one. Mark Quinhos went to Arsenal as well from Sao Paulo. We got Fabio Carvalho went from Fulham to Liverpool. A lot of Premier teams had some changes. I know that Chelsea was they were leading FC Barcelona as candidates for Leeds United winger Rafinha, which I've never heard of him, but I heard he was good. Manchester City was trying to get goalkeeper Zach Steffen, which would be huge for Man City. I like Manchester City. And Man United was set to try to get Tyrell Malacia. But no huge names on trades. There's Diego Carlos and Simone I don't want to say his name, Adingra. But other than that, there's a lot of names I've never heard of, but a lot of transactions going on with that. The World Cup later on this year is actually, the World Cup is in November, which is kind of a surprise, but they're starting it November the 21st, but it's on the radar. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Now for YouTube boxing, talk about this a little bit. There is a huge thing going on between Jake Paul was supposed to fight Tommy Fury, but Tommy Fury couldn't get into the U.S., supposedly couldn't get into the U.S. And Jake Paul was saying, oh, he's trying to back out again. He's such a loser. And there's a huge thing going on Twitter about that because that fight was supposed to be in New York, I think. And then there's Austin McBroom. We mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Austin McBroom and Gibb was supposed to be in LA. And then there's the KSI event going on in August. So there is a lot of beef going on between them, between Jake Paul, McBroom, and KSI on Twitter too, where they're all taking shots at each other's company and calling each other losers. And mainly a lot of the people's arguments against KSI was that he hadn't fought 2 years. Now for Jake Paul, of course, there's arguments that he hasn't fought real boxers, but Woodley, I mean, that's an exception. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that all these guys are beefing over the pettiest stuff. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like, they're living in each other's heads rent free. Obviously, McBroom's a fraud. They haven't even sold 1,000 tickets for the McBroom fight yet. They haven't even sold much at all for that. And then, of course, Paul and Tommy may not happen now. So what is y'all's thoughts on all that?
I think that Jake and Tommy should happen in whatever country Tommy's in. I'm not sure. I've heard Canada, but I'm not sure where he's at. So I hope that happens wherever, because I really want to see Jake actually fight a boxer, and Tommy Fury is a boxer. So I'd like to see that happen. Austin McBroom, you are a scumbag. And KSI, I hope you prove people wrong and win your fight.
Yeah, I like KSI. Austin McBroom looks like one of those things that girls use for makeup, where it's like the little brush that's like poofed up and stuff with his hair. He's built like a hot Cheeto, man. I can't stand that dude. And then I hope Tommy Fury beats the crap out of Jake Paul. Please beat the crap out of him.
Like, I mean, I get what you're saying with McBroom compared to this. Kind of funny. I've mentioned McBroom a couple weeks ago, like why I don't like him. So if y'all want to see that, go back and watch that one. But I think I saw something else too about Fury, because he apparently was in California a couple, like, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago or a month ago, but he can't get it to the U.S. now for some reason. He couldn't specify what it was, and he didn't really give much information. So there's rumors, of course, that he's back here. He's trying to back out, but I don't think he is, but that's a possibility. Now, in regarding Jake Paul, I do not like the dude, but he is a good boxer. He is a very good boxer. He's done nothing but train for years. I could see him winning, but I don't want to see him win.
I am going to bring up a real sport, not YouTube boxing.
Ooh.
UFC.
Oh, shots!
UFC 276 is coming up this weekend. We got Israel Adesanya and Jared Cantier for the middleweight championship, but we also got some pretty good fights here. We got Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway 3 for the featherweight championship. And I'm trying to find the last fight here.
We also have. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I believe it is Pedro Munez versus Sean O'Malley.
And then the fight after that one, which is right below the Alexander Volkanovski one, is Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira.
Yes, I forgot about that fight. So
Yes.
I'm gonna start from the bottom of the main card. So for the O'Malley versus Munoz fight, I'm gonna go with O'Malley.
O'Malley.
Yeah, for the Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley one, I'm going O'Malley. And, the reason why is Pedro Munoz, he's kind of like a balanced fighter. He can fight both on the feet and on the ground. But Sean O'Malley's striking is deadly. And he's really good at catching you. And, he's known. Now, I'm not going to actually say the cuss word, but he's legit known for just spinning, SHIT. Like, that's legit one of his nicknames. That's because that's all he does. Like, if you ever see him in a fight, he does a bunch of spinning back fists and spinning kicks and roundhouse kick. Like, he's crazy.
Yes, Sean O'Malley is a great fighter. I can't wait to officially watch him. I've seen highlights of him, but I just have never gotten the chance to watch his fight. Sean Strickland versus who was the guy again? I missed it.
Alex Pereira.
Thank you, Cam. I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland. Why not?
I'm kind of having a hard time here with Sean Strickland and Alex because Strickland's really good, but so is Alex. So I'm going to say Alex is going to come out, and I think he's going to win. I'm going to say Sean O'Malley's going to win by decision. Alex is going to win by KO.
Right. Christian, do you have a prediction?
I do not know most of these guys, so I have no comment.
Okay. So for the Volkanovski versus Holloway fight, I'm really excited for this one. I think Holloway is going to win because he's been close to beating Volkanovski a couple times, and it's only a matter of time before he can get the win and get the featherweight championship. But no disrespect to Volkanovski. I've seen a lot of people being like he doesn't get enough respect. And Volkanovski's really awesome, and I would not be surprised if he won. I think it will be a very close fight, but I'm going to go with Holloway.
I think Volkanovski is going to win. As much as I love Holloway, I think Holloway is going to be a fighter. I think it's going to go to decision. But Volkanovski is just very dominant, and I think he is going to win again. And I think he's really going to beat Holloway on the ground a lot more than he is. And plus, Holloway has a bad time protecting his legs, and you're going to definitely see Volkanovski kick. He's going to throw those leg kicks hard and fast. And when you hear them, they're super deadly. I don't know if you've ever heard Volkanovski's leg kicks, but they're like a gunshot. It's horrible.
Right. I mean, they fought 3 times or twice already, so Max better be prepared for that. And then for the main event, Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cantor, I'm easily going to go with Israel Adesanya. No question about it. He's just too good. Dude is one of the best strikers I have ever seen in my life. I love his striking.
And that's the thing too, is Israel is very technical as well. And it's like he's very analytical. And, like unlike a lot of fighters, yes, they have a lot of technique to them, but they're not really thinking in the fight and then the cage, right? Israel's a guy, he analyzes what he's doing as he's doing it. He listens to what his people are saying and his crew. But really, a lot of times he's thinking and doing it himself. And, I'd be excited for when Israel faces a wrestler or someone or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy who's on the ground. Until then, he's just going to knock these guys out of the park. Because Jared Cannonier, he's one of those guys who is just a stand-up fighter. And the only way I could see him catching, getting Israel Adesanya is, catching him, because he has very long arms and he throws these very, long strides.
Right.
So, I'd like to see if he can do it. And, I don't think he will, but I think it'd be a huge surprise. And, I feel like Jared Cannonier does not get enough respect, 100%. So I'd like to see if he was be able to. I love Israel, though, but if he was able to do something, I'd like to see how it would go.
Right. I mean, he's a good fighter for sure, but just Izzy, I love the control, like you were mentioning, Cam. I love the control and how Izzy always checks his range too. Just he doesn't throw strikes just to try to point them. He makes his strikes count.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So now let's get into the top plays of the week. Coming in at number 10, we got this Arturi Lakonen big shot.
And at number 9, Carlos Correa clutch homer.
A deep drive to left field, and Correa has put the Twins in front.
At number 8, we got Kyle Schwarber's 3-run homer.
Opposite way, going back on it is Profar. It's going to be way out of here. A 3-run opposite field bomb for Kyle Schwarber, and the Phillies have taken the lead. A flick of the wrist, and it went a good ways.
That is one strong human.
And at number 7, we got Umar Nurmagomedov front kick to the face.
You're going to end up in the same spots you've been in the first 2 rounds.
Nice pronunciation, Mike. And at number 6, Riley Green's diving catch.
And his teammates were all excited for him. There's a flare to right center. Riley Green got to go.
Jello! Did he pull that in? He did!
That's a pretty good one. But at number 5, we got Nick Forte's walk-off.
0-1. High fly ball. Deep left field. Fortes did it! With 2 out in the 9th inning.
And at number 4, we got Kyle Tucker's home run robbery.
2-0 here. Sends that ball to deep right field, and that will be caught by Tucker.
And then number 3, Robinson Chirinos catches ball in the mask and still gets the out.
Speed of your pitches. There's one of the bounces.
There's a delayed move at second base.
He does. I mean, look at this. It comes up. I don't know how he does it. Catches it underneath the mask.
I see that one. That was really good one. But at number 2, we got Shohei Ohtani's 462-foot home run. Talk about this guy. This guy's had an amazing year.
Hammered! Destroyed that baseball! Stare it down! Sugoi! We're tied at 1. Ohtani's 16th.
Yeah, complete bomb.
And at number 1, we got a tie here. Trevor Story, home run into the street / a grand slam.
There it is.
High fly ball left field. That ball is gone.
France hit! Oh my goodness!
And also this Aaron Judge walk-off.
The 0-1. That one's drilled deep to left field. Going back, Diaz looking up. See ya! A walk-off 3-run home run for Judge. And the Yankees win it. Astros.
Which his fans went nuts, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They screamed their head off.
Yeah, and so with that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Sue!
Calling up, you only calling now. You wanted what I think.